Chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven pauses for you in this very moment. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You have wondered why your life felt observed, why doors opened and shut without warning, why people appeared in seasons then vanished like mist. The truth is, you have always been watched, not merely by human eyes, but by realms unseen. The moment your soul took its first breath, both light and darkness marked you as significant. You were never invisible, you were being studied. From your earliest memories, you sensed it, the weight of unseen attention. Teachers couldn't explain your intuition. Family couldn't interpret your silence. And friends often misunderstood the depth of your discernment. But heaven knew. The Father whispered over you before you even understood language. This one will carry my fire. The reason you were isolated wasn't rejection, it was protection. Heaven kept you hidden while the world learned to recognize your kind. You've walked through storms that seemed unfair, betrayals that shattered trust, and nights when tears became your only prayer. You asked, "Why me?" And heaven replied, "Because only you could bear this molding." The watchers, both divine and demonic, understood your potential before you did. They saw the blueprint of greatness written across your spirit. And so, every delay, every disappointment, became a surveillance report in the spiritual realm. Darkness studied your patterns, your reactions, your pain points. But what the enemy failed to see was that the very pressure used to monitor you was shaping your might. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 2, "He made my mouth like a sharpened sword. In the shadow of his hand, he hid me. He made me into a polished arrow and concealed me in his quiver." You were not hidden to be forgotten. You were hidden to be refined. You were not ignored. You were being sharpened. Every unseen season, every moment of silence, was heaven's preparation for visibility. You were being concealed in God's quiver, shaped for a moment when your release would pierce darkness itself. Those times you felt unseen by people were the moments heaven's eyes were most fixed upon you. Every secret battle, every quiet act of kindness you thought no one noticed. But heaven recorded it all. You are heaven's investment, and the watchers know it. You wonder why spiritual warfare feels so personal. Because it is. The mark on your life sends ripples through the unseen. Angels recognize your frequency. Demons tremble at your awakening. Now the Father reminds you, this is your awakening hour. The watchers have increased their gaze because something within you is rising. The fire that once flickered in the dark is now burning with clarity. You are about to understand why you had to be hidden, why prayers felt delayed, and why your path seemed lonely. You were in divine observation, not for punishment, but for preparation. The eyes of heaven are not like the eyes of man. Humans watch to judge, but heaven watches to guide. God has observed your faithfulness in secret and is preparing to reward you in the open. The Lord saw the nights you cried out without words. He saw when you kept walking, even when the weight felt unbearable. You thought you were surviving, but you were being documented by destiny. Every step of obedience became a testimony written in eternity's archives. You could never blend in. The watchers recognized what even you doubted, the glory that hovers around you. Some people were drawn to your light, others were repelled by it. Both reactions were part of the divine record. You carry a light that reveals intentions, and not everyone can stand in that illumination. Do not resent those who withdrew. Their exit was proof of your elevation. Your story is about to shift from being watched to being revealed. The same ones who studied your struggles will soon witness your rise. The same eyes that sought your downfall will see your deliverance. Chosen one, stand firm. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop hiding your discernment. Heaven is confirming what you've always felt. You were never just surviving. You were under divine surveillance for a heavenly mission. When the watchers saw you fall, heaven saw you being reborn. The observation was never about exposure. It was about evidence that grace outlasts warfare. Now, do this prophetic act. Like, share, and subscribe, not for numbers, but as a declaration that you recognize your divine surveillance as part of your calling. You were never hidden from God's gaze. The watchers saw your pain, but heaven saw your purpose. The watchers saw your scars, but heaven saw your strength. And as you rise, remember, the one who watches over you neither sleeps nor slumbers. You are covered. You are chosen. You are seen. Comment 77 below if you receive this truth. You were marked from the beginning. Before your name was ever spoken on earth, it was known in heaven's courts. The mark was not visible to human eyes, yet every realm recognized it. It was the seal of purpose, the sign that your life would not follow the patterns of ordinary men and women. That mark became both your greatest honor and your greatest burden. It drew divine favor and demonic attention, light and shadow, revelation and warfare. You were set apart for something the world could not define. And that distinction made you a target. From the moment you entered this world, everything about you seemed to carry a strange gravity. People responded to you differently. Even as a child, some loved you without knowing why. Others envied or disliked you for reasons they couldn't explain. It was not personal, it was spiritual recognition. The mark of destiny emits a frequency, and every realm reacts to it. Darkness knows what heaven has touched. When God marks a soul, hell begins to tremble. This mark did not appear the day you first believed, or the moment you began to pray. It was written into your very design. The Spirit of God hovered over your formation, embedding divine codes into your spirit, codes of resilience, intuition, and sacred authority. That is why certain things affect you differently. You cannot sin comfortably. You cannot remain in places of compromise for long. The mark pulls you toward truth, even when rebellion tries to pull you away. There were times when you questioned if the mark was a curse. You looked at others who seemed to move freely, who did not feel the constant tension between calling and resistance. You envied their simplicity. But heaven whispered, "You were not born for comfort. You were born for calling." Every chosen vessel carries a seal that makes ordinary living impossible. You were designed for impact, not invisibility. That is why your spirit never settles in shallow waters. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. This verse is not just ancient history, it is the blueprint of your identity. To be known before birth means your destiny existed before your struggle. You were appointed long before you were opposed. That realization shifts everything. The pain was never random. The isolation never wasted. The mark guaranteed that both heaven and hell would recognize you. You may not remember the exact moment the mark revealed itself to you, but you felt it in your bones. the pull towards something higher, the strange resistance every time you tried to live like everyone else. Even your failures have felt sacred. Each one became a classroom where grace instructed you in humility and dependence. The mark does not exempt you from struggle. It transforms struggle into strategy. When people betrayed you, the mark recorded it. When you forgave them, heaven rejoiced. When you fell to your knees in surrender, angels took note. The mark is not a brand of ownership by the world. It is heaven's signature on your spirit. You carry evidence that you belong to another realm. That is why you have survived situations that should have ended you. The mark sustains what human strength cannot. And even now, as you remember your past, you will notice how the mark guided your path like an invisible compass. The relationships that ended, the doors that closed, the delays that frustrated you, they were all orchestrated by the intelligence of that mark. Heaven was protecting the purity of your assignment. You were never being punished, you were being preserved. So do not despise the seasons when you felt unseen or misunderstood. Those were the incubators of your purpose. While others ran ahead, you were being anchored. While others celebrated noise, you were being refined in silence. You are not late. You are precisely on heaven's timeline. The mark you carry is awakening now. It burns when you approach destiny. And it warns you, when deception draws near, it is not there to control you, but to remind you that your life is not your own. You belong to a greater story, one written before time began. Remember this, the mark is not a burden to hide, but a banner to honor. It is proof that God saw something in you worth protecting, and the same mark that made you a target will now become your testimony. The mark was never meant to isolate you, it was meant to identify you. What once made you different will now make you indispensable in the unfolding plan of heaven. You did not imagine it. The silent surveillance has been real, long before you realized your own strength. Unseen forces were studying you. Every choice, every emotion, every reaction was analyzed by both light and darkness. It was not paranoia, it was prophecy. You have been watched because you are part of a spiritual equation, a key piece in a plan greater than your understanding. The moment your obedience became consistent, the observation intensified. Heaven watched to protect, while darkness watched to predict. There were nights when you felt a heavy presence, moments of sudden exhaustion when you hadn't done anything physical, waves of sadness that came from nowhere. Those were not random. The watchers wanted to track your rhythm, to know what discourages you, what breaks your focus, what silences your prayer. They sent distractions not to destroy you immediately, but to collect data about your heart. The enemy studies persistence because he fears it most. Heaven, however, has been watching for a different reason. God's surveillance is not suspicion, it is affection. The same way a shepherd watches over sheep, he monitors your path to ensure you are never completely lost. While the enemy observes to accuse, heaven observes to anoint. Every hardship you endured became proof of your endurance. Every silent night of prayer became a record in heaven's archives that you could be trusted with greater things. We find in the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." That is what your silent seasons have been, tests of refinement. The watchers could only see your pain, but heaven saw the purification happening beneath it. You were never being spied on for entertainment, you were being measured for elevation. The testing ground became your transformation ground. There were times when you wondered if God had turned his face from you, because everything felt quiet. But silence does not mean absence, it means assessment. The teacher is always quiet during the test. Heaven was observing how you would respond when the miracles stopped being visible, when the voices around you grew faint, when faith had to become your only friend. That was the surveillance of sanctification. And the enemy watched. Frustrated, he saw you weep, but still worship. He saw you lose people but not lose faith. He recorded your weakness and misinterpreted it as defeat, but heaven called it surrender. Every time you refused to curse your process, another layer of glory was added to your mark. Even when you didn't feel spiritual, your resilience terrified darkness. Hell expected you to give up, but you kept moving. You didn't know it then, but angels were taking notes, documenting every time you chose forgiveness over revenge, purity over compromise, prayer over panic. These records are why you are entering a new realm of authority. The surveillance season is shifting. You are moving from being observed to being established. The watchers who studied your patterns will soon realize their mistake. They confused your stillness with weakness, your silence with surrender. But your stillness was strategy. Your silence was strength. You were being equipped in private for a public revelation. Understand this truth. Heaven never watches idly. Every divine gaze has purpose. God's eyes are the safest surveillance you could ever experience. When he watches, he also guards. When he studies, he also shapes. When he tests, he also transforms. Chosen one. This moment requires recognition. You have to understand that you are no longer the same person the watchers once analyzed. You have evolved. Your spiritual signature has changed. What once attracted attack will now attract angels. Now type in the comments, I am seen. Not as a chant, but as a declaration that you know you are under divine watch, not demonic control. When you type those 3 words, you affirm that heaven's observation is your covering. It means you accept the process. You no longer resent the testing, and you stand unshaken by the gaze of either realm. You are no longer a subject of surveillance, you are a steward of revelation. What was once used to watch you will soon be used to announce you. The season of quiet observation is ending, and a season of divine confirmation has begun. The same eyes that studied your struggle will witness your shining. The silence around you has never been emptiness, it has been evidence. Evidence that God trusted you enough to test you in private before honoring you in public. Now that season is ending. The eyes that once watched in doubt will watch in awe. The same stage built for your testing will soon host your testimony. You have often wondered why pain seemed to arrive in cycles, why disappointment visited just when you began to hope again. Yet what you called misfortune was actually design. Life was never punishing you, it was preparing you. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every closed door was a divine setup for transformation. This was your testing ground, the proving place where your purpose was purified. In the visible world, it looked like chaos. People left without explanation. Promises crumbled. Opportunities faded like mist. But in the invisible realm, something sacred was being recorded. Your reactions, your faith, your ability to stand when everything in you wanted to collapse. Heaven was not measuring your perfection, it was measuring your perseverance. You see, The destiny of a chosen one cannot rest on untested foundations. Fragile faith cannot hold eternal weight. So God allowed certain storms to find you, not to break you, but to build you. Every tear became a tool, carving humility into your strength. Every loss chiseled away pride, until what remained was pure trust. What you called failure was actually divine filtration. The Spirit spoke through the Apostle Paul in his letter to the Romans. Chapter 5, verses 3 and 4. We glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character. Hope is sin. That progression is the blueprint of your journey. Suffering produced endurance in you. Endurance birthed character. And character opened the door to a new kind of hope, the kind that cannot be shaken. That is why you walk differently now. Why your silence carries authority. And why your words pierce through the noise. You have walked through the wilderness and come out with wisdom. The testing ground felt endless because heaven was refining eternal things within you. There were days when nothing made sense. Your prayers returned unanswered. Your plans unraveled. And your faith seemed fragile. But that confusion was not neglect, it was calibration. You were being aligned to divine timing. Consider gold. It cannot become pure until it is placed in fire. The flames do not destroy it. They reveal its true nature. That is what your trials have done. They have burned away imitation strength, false confidence, and misplaced trust. What is left is the real you, the version heaven always intended. In this testing ground, even silence was sacred. You wanted instructions, but God offered stillness. You wanted speed, but heaven taught you stability. You wanted escape, but you were given endurance. Through every delay, you learned that not all movement means progress. Sometimes the most powerful growth happens in the soil, where no one sees it. You learned how to be still without becoming stagnant. You discovered that waiting is not weakness, it is worship. That when you stop striving and simply trust, heaven moves with precision. The old version of you wanted to control outcomes. The new version trusts divine order. And though the refining was painful, it produced something rare, peace in pressure. You now know how to walk through fire without losing form. You've learned how to remain kind when wronged, calm when misunderstood, steadfast when tempted to quit. Those lessons cannot be bought. They are earned in the testing ground. Looking back, you can trace the pattern. Every delay had direction. Every disappointment redirected you toward destiny. What once looked like destruction now feels like discipline. And that discipline has become your discernment. You can now sense when something is right or wrong for you, not by logic, but by peace. That is the fruit of your testing. In the eyes of others, your quiet seasons looked like defeat. But heaven saw a soldier in training. The world saw isolation. Heaven saw instruction. You were learning the language of resilience, the rhythm of trust, and the melody of obedience. You were not losing. You were learning the art of lasting. And though you may still carry scars, those scars have turned into scriptures on your skin, each one telling a story of grace. The pain that once silenced you has now become your pulpit. You can speak life because you have known death. You can comfort others because you have been comforted by the unseen. The testing ground does not last forever. When its purpose is complete, heaven moves you forward. And that is where you are now, standing at the border between refinement and revelation. You are ready to carry the weight of your calling, not with pride, but with peace. Remember, the testing ground is not punishment, it is permission. God trusts you enough to train you, and the very trials that once confused you will soon confirm you. The ground beneath your feet, once soaked with tears, has become holy. It is the place where you met yourself, the real, unshakable, transformed you. You did not know it then, but the hardest seasons of your life were heaven's classroom. Every storm, every delay, every tear was not wasted. It was training. You have been walking through a divine curriculum, one that no school could ever offer. It was the classroom of endurance, the secret lessons of heaven's hidden training. When you were left alone and misunderstood, that was lesson 1. Trust the unseen hand. When your prayers seemed unanswered, that was lesson 2. Faith is not a feeling, it is an anchor. And when people you loved walked away, that was lesson 3. Destiny sometimes requires distance. The tests you faced were not designed to humiliate you, but to cultivate you. You were being trained quietly for the weight of what you are about to carry publicly. In the book of Psalms, chapter 144, verse 1, it is written, "Praise be to the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle." That is what has been happening to you, training for the unseen battle. God did not abandon you in silence. He was teaching you how to fight in the dark. The fire that once frightened you has now become your forge. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every delay has hammered your spirit into something unbreakable. Heaven's training is rarely comfortable, but it always produces champions. And you, chosen one, have been in that hidden boot camp, where tears become tools and weakness becomes wisdom. The way you handled rejection taught you grace. The way you endured waiting taught you patience. The way you forgave your enemies taught you mercy. You were not being punished, you were being polished. Some days you felt as if your prayers bounced off the ceiling, as though God's silence meant indifference. Yet all along, He was closer than breath, watching how you would respond when faith was all you had left. Every time you kept walking, every time you refused to quit, heaven took note. You were proving that your obedience could carry weight. And now, as the refining process nears completion, something begins to stir in your soul, a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. You no longer fear storms because you have learned their rhythm. You have danced in the rain of trial long enough to know it always ends in sunlight. You no longer chase approval because you have found purpose. This is heaven's hidden training, where the unseen produces the unstoppable. You've been through lessons most people run from, but that is why you are being prepared for what most people cannot handle. The crown you will carry requires endurance that cannot be taught through comfort. If this message has watered your spirit, if it has reminded you of your worth, I invite you press the like, share this light, and subscribe so that the flame continues to spread. Each simple act is like throwing a spark into the night, helping another soul see that they are not alone in the dark. And if one day your heart feels moved to give, then give not out of duty, but out of love. Think of it like this: when you find a lantern burning in the fog, you don't pay for the light, you add a little oil so it keeps shining for the next traveler. That is what your offering does. Your giving becomes oil for the lamp, a gentle way of saying, Let the flame keep burning. M. There is no demand, no price for truth. What comes from heaven cannot be bought, but every gift freely sown becomes a seed of gratitude, a silent thank you to the one who trained you. Donate only if peace stirs in your heart, not because you must, but because you want to see hope reach further. Your training has not been easy, but it has been sacred. The pain that once confused you is now your credential. The scars that once embarrassed you are now your authority. You are no longer the same person who entered the fire. You are the refined version, the warrior shaped by heaven's hands. And soon, those who once watched your suffering will witness your strength. For the same God who trained your hands for battle is about to use those hands to lift others. And when that day comes, every scar will shine like glass beneath sunlight. Proof that pain was never your prison, it was your passage to purpose. Stand tall, chosen one. The world will soon understand that your training was not survival, it was preparation for your rise. Your endurance has become your evidence. Every wound now glows with wisdom. Every tear turned into testimony. What once broke you now builds bridges for others to find their strength. There was a moment quiet, fragile, and heavy when you almost gave up. The world didn't see it, but heaven did. You stood at the edge of surrender, exhausted by battles that never seemed to end. Your heart whispered, maybe it would be easier to stop fighting. But something divine within you refused. It was not pride, not stubbornness, it was purpose. You were being pulled back by unseen hands that would not let you fall. That moment, when your knees trembled and your faith flickered, was the breaking point heaven had planned. Because the breaking point is not the end, it is the moment when the light enters through the cracks. You were never breaking down, you were breaking open. In the stillness of despair, a whisper rose from within, not yet. That was God speaking, not as a voice in the sky, but as strength rising from your own spirit. It was the echo of eternity, reminding you that destiny does not die in disappointment. You were too chosen to quit, too anointed to disappear. The Spirit spoke through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That morning is approaching now. You have cried enough tears to water a forest. And from those tears, something beautiful has begun to grow. The soil of your sorrow has been turning into fertile ground for your future. You thought the darkness buried you, but heaven was actually planting you. Every chosen one faces a sacred breaking. It's the season where heaven measures your endurance and hell tests your identity. The darkness whispered, "You are forgotten." But heaven answered, "You are being refined." The silence you heard was not abandonment, it was construction. God was building you in the quiet, shaping your inner structure to hold more glory than before. And now, the air around you shifts. You feel a stirring, a knowing that you have survived what was meant to end you. The watchers who expected your silence will soon hear your song. The same hands that caught your tears will now crown your head. This breaking changed you. It burned away illusions, separated truth from comfort, and revealed strength you didn't know you carried. You no longer crave the approval of those who never understood your calling. You no longer fear the solitude that once frightened you. You've learned that God does His best work when no one else is watching. Remember that moment when you almost walked away from everything, your dream, your faith, your purpose. That was the line between collapse and calling. Heaven held its breath, waiting to see what you would do. And when you whispered one more prayer, even through tears, heaven erupted in joy. That single act of faith shifted everything. Do not underestimate the quiet courage it took to keep breathing when your soul wanted to give up. That kind of strength cannot be taught. It is forged. You have now entered a new stage, the realm of resurrection, where things that once died begin to live again. Look back only to recognize how far you've come. You survived the night, and morning is here. What tried to crush you has become the reason you rise taller. So, chosen one, pause. Remember that heaven never wastes pain. The place where you broke will become the place where others are healed. The tears that once blurred your vision will one day baptize someone else's breakthrough. Now, as a sign of faith, comment 444 below. Let it be your declaration that you have reached the other side of breaking. That number is not superstition, it is sacred symbolism. 4 represents foundation, the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 winds that carry breath across creation, the 4 directions that form stability around every traveler of destiny. When you write 444, you are not typing a number, you are building an altar of remembrance. You are saying, my heart stands firm in all 4 winds. My faith is rooted on all sides. I am whole again. Even if storms come from the north, pain rises from the south, doubt whispers from the east, or fear returns from the west, you will not be moved. The one who restored you has surrounded you on every side. 444 becomes a covenant between your past and your future, a quiet promise that you will never collapse the same way again. Each 4 is a pillar holding up your new beginning. You are grounded now, balanced, steady. Your storm no longer defines you. Your structure does. And when you look back years from now, you will realize that your greatest collapse became your greatest consecration. You were never falling apart. You were being rearranged for glory. The watchers expected your end. They studied your exhaustion, analyzed your silence, and waited for you to break. They saw your decline, but never foresaw your deliverance. What confuses darkness most is not your pain, it is your persistence. Every time you stood up after a fall, the unseen realm trembled, because survival was never part of the enemy's calculation. For a long time, you did not even notice how much you unsettled the forces around you. You assumed your hardships were punishment, not realizing that your endurance was warfare. Every time you chose love over bitterness, light over vengeance, prayer over panic, the enemy's plans fractured. You were never weak, you were strategic. The fire that sought to consume you has now become your signal, a beacon to heaven and a warning to hell that you cannot be broken. We find in the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 8, do not gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. Now, that is the declaration of your life. You fell. Yes, but not for long. You sat in darkness. Yes, but only until light returned. Your fall was never failure. It was formation. Every time you stumbled, your spirit gathered data about resilience. Every bruise became a reminder of where not to step again. The watchers grew confused because they misread your rhythm. They mistook your pauses for paralysis. They thought your quietness was surrender. But you were learning how to listen more than you spoke. You were shifting from reaction to revelation. And when you stopped fighting out of fear and started moving from faith, your frequency changed. The things that used to disturb you could no longer reach you. There is something holy about surviving what was meant to destroy you. It alters the texture of your soul. You carry authority now, not from titles or applause, but from endurance. The watchers see it, even if they cannot name it. It is the quiet fire in your eyes, the way you no longer rush, the way you speak less but mean more. You have become what storms respect. You were never meant to prove yourself to them. You were meant to outlast them. The confusion of darkness begins when light refuses to die. That is you. You refused to die spiritually. You refused to let bitterness rot your heart. You refused to let shame write your final chapter. The enemy planned your end, but heaven wrote your extension. Now, even the very forces that once mocked you have no language for your resilience. The demonic reports have turned silent because nothing they used worked. They whispered lies. Yet you chose truth. They sent distraction. Yet you kept your focus. They placed weight on your shoulders. Yet you learned how to worship while carrying it. You became the paradox that darkness could not decipher, broken yet burning, weary yet willing, wounded yet walking. And now, heaven smiles. The Father does not just see your survival, He celebrates your growth. You are no longer reacting to darkness, you are radiating light. You have moved from being tested to being trusted. That is why confusion has filled the enemy's camp, because what was supposed to cripple you has commissioned you. You have become proof that grace is not fragile, proof that those who walk with God may bend but never break. Your scars speak louder than sermons. Your peace preaches without words. The same watchers who thought they were observing your defeat are now forced to witness your divine recovery, even now, without saying a word. Your very existence unsettles the realm of darkness. Your breath is testimony. Your endurance is warfare. And the watchers know what they once underestimated has now become unstoppable. So walk boldly, chosen one. You are not merely surviving anymore. You are thriving in defiance of darkness. You are a living contradiction to every demonic forecast. The Watcher's confusion is your confirmation you have officially crossed from wounded to warrior. They watched for your ruin, but instead witnessed your rebirth. What they called your ending became heaven's opening, a living reminder that grace always outlasts the schemes of darkness. The same eyes that tracked your pain will soon witness your peace. Every false report written about your failure will now testify to your favor. Walk forward with calm authority. You are no longer the observed, you are the evidence. The story they studied has turned into the victory heaven scripted long before you knew your own strength. Something inside you has begun to awaken, a quiet stirring. You cannot fully describe. It is not ambition or excitement. It is remembrance. The spirit within you remembers what it was created for. What once felt distant now feels near. What once felt impossible now seems inevitable. The mantle that was sleeping has begun to rise, and it is responding to the timing of heaven. The awakening of a mantle is not loud. It does not announce itself with thunder. It comes softly, like dawn after a long night. One day you simply realize you have changed. You look at situations that once broke you and find that they no longer move you. You sense words forming inside you that you did not study, wisdom flowing through you that you never learned from books. That is the mantle, God's invisible clothing of purpose beginning to rest upon you. You may not see it, but the atmosphere around you has shifted. Heaven has authorized what hell tried to delay. The time of testing has matured into a time of manifestation, and you, who once walked uncertainly through darkness, now carry a light that no storm can extinguish. The prophet Elijah once passed his cloak to Elisha, a symbol that power and purpose were being transferred. That ancient act still echoes through eternity. When heaven releases a mantle, it is not merely an anointing, it is responsibility. The weight of it does not crush you, it completes you. You were shaped through pain, so that when the mantle came, you could bear it with humility instead of pride. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 1, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives." End of. That is what your mantle carries. It is not just for display, it is for deliverance. You were not anointed to be admired, you were anointed to heal, to free, to speak, to serve. The power resting on your life is not decoration, it is direction. It will guide you toward those who need what you carry. When the mantle awakens, everything ordinary begins to shift. You speak differently because truth now sits on your tongue. You walk differently because purpose steadies your steps. Even your silence begins to have weight. People may not understand what changed, but they will feel it. The presence around you will become unmistakable. You will also notice that certain relationships start to fade. Do not mourn them. The mantle often demands solitude before service. God removes voices that cannot hear your new frequency, for they would only misinterpret your assignment. Where you are going, distraction cannot follow. This awakening will not always feel glorious. There will be moments when the power within you seems too strong for your current surroundings. You will feel the tension between where you've been and where you're called to go. But remember this, growth always stretches before it settles. The mantle fits awkwardly at first, but soon it will feel like your second skin. You might sense deeper empathy now. Pain around you touches you differently. You no longer look away when others struggle. Your heart moves toward them. That is the evidence of the mantle, the increase of compassion alongside power. The more heaven trusts you with authority, the softer your heart becomes. You will also find new clarity. What once confused you now appears simple. Heaven begins to whisper strategies for things you never thought you could lead. The mantle does not just give you ability, it gives you alignment. It places you exactly where your light is needed. And though this season may feel heavy, know that it is holy. The mantle is proof that heaven has graduated you from waiting to walking. You are no longer asking for purpose, you are wearing it. The same hands that carried you through breaking now clothe you with brilliance. This is the beginning of your visible transformation. You have stepped into your assignment, and everything that once tried to hide, you must now make room for your rise. The mantle has awakened, and heaven smiles, for what was once hidden has finally found its voice. The mantle does not make you greater than others, it makes you more responsible for them. Power without compassion is noise, but love wrapped in purpose becomes transformation. You are no longer chasing signs, you have become one. The same light that once searched for direction now guides others home through the glow of your obedience. Exposure was never meant to shame you. It was meant to shape you. Every time your flaws were revealed, heaven was inviting you to grow beyond them. You prayed for elevation. But elevation always exposes what must be refined. The public moments that embarrassed you, the mistakes you wished no one had seen, those were classrooms of character. God allowed some things to be seen, not to humiliate you, but to heal you. In hidden seasons, you learned discipline. In exposed seasons, you learned dependence. When eyes turned toward you and whispers grew loud, you thought you were being punished. But what truly happened was purification. You were learning how to stand, even when misunderstood. How to keep your integrity when judgment circled you. Every misstep became a message. Every scar became a sentence in the story. Heaven is still writing. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." You fell. Yes, but you rose. You stumbled, but you learned how to stand taller. Exposure was your refining fire. It separated imitation, faith, from the real thing. When your weaknesses came into the light, you met grace face to face. You realized that perfection was never the goal. Authenticity was. Do not despise the seasons when your mistakes were visible. Without them, you would have never discovered mercy. Grace is only understood by those who have needed it publicly. The very moments that made you hide are the same ones that made you humble. You learned that reputation can fade, but redemption does not. The watchers who saw your fall expected silence, but heaven was preparing your sound. You have learned the rhythm of restoration, the gentle pace between repentance and renewal. You no longer fear exposure because truth has become your shield. When you stop pretending, the power of authenticity becomes unstoppable. Your story is no longer one of shame, but of testimony. You carry the proof that light can enter through cracks and rebuild what darkness tried to destroy. The world might remember your failure, but heaven remembers your faith. Those who laughed at your fall will soon witness your rise. And your rise will not be boastful, it will be beautiful, quiet, and undeniable. You no longer flinch when people mention your past, because your past has lost its power. Every time someone recalls where you once were, it only magnifies how far you have come. You've learned that transparency is not weakness, it's warfare. When you are unafraid to tell your truth, hell loses its leverage. Exposure removed the false layers. It made you relatable. It made your compassion deep and your discernment sharp. You now recognize pain in others because you've felt it yourself. That is what makes your ministry pure. You are not speaking theory. You are speaking testimony. And now, you stand in front of the mirror, unashamed. You see the reflection of someone who has been forgiven much, loved deeply, and rebuilt gracefully. The voice of condemnation has gone silent, replaced by conviction and confidence. You no longer chase validation, because grace already approved you. This is your season of holy exposure, the kind where heaven reveals you, not to shame, but to shine. The same eyes that saw your fall will now witness your fruit. You are the evidence that mercy triumphs over mistakes. Now, as a prophetic act, comment, "I rise again." Enter not as repetition, but as realization that you are not the sum of your failures. You are the living result of restoration. When you type those words, You affirm that your identity is no longer built on guilt, but on grace. The watchers once saw your wounds, now they will witness your wings. You have learned to fly through the same skies that once echoed your fall. The season of exposure is over. The season of elevation has begun. You are not rising for applause, you are rising for alignment. Each step upward returns you to the design God envisioned before your first breath. This is restoration, not performance. When you type, "I rise again," you are not denying the fall, you are declaring victory over it. Those 3 words are a covenant between your past pain and your future purpose. They say, "I accept grace. I accept growth. I move forward." Every fall gave you revelation. Every mistake became material for your ministry. What once brought shame now births strength. You are the living proof that failure cannot bury what heaven has blessed to rise. There comes a time when heaven decides to make its intentions visible, when those who once doubted you must watch what divine faithfulness looks like. This is that time. You are being crowned, not in secret, but in sight. The same people who watched you stumble will now watch you stand. The same mouths that whispered against you will now have to speak your name with respect. But remember, this moment is not revenge, it is revelation. God promotes not to prove others wrong, but to prove His promise right. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 75, verse 6, "For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He putteth down one, and setteth up another." Your rising is not an accident. It is the unfolding of what was written long before you were wounded. You have walked through fire and come out with fragrance, not smoke. Heaven is crowning you amidst chaos. And every storm that tried to drown you will now serve as the wind beneath your victory. But do not mistake the crown for comfort. A crown is both glory and gravity. It shines, yet it weighs. It is a reminder that elevation is not escape from service, but empowerment for it. You are being lifted, not to sit higher than others, but to reach further for them. Think of a lighthouse. It stands in the open, battered by waves, drenched by storms, yet it never stops shining. That is what your crowning looks like. You are now a beacon for those still fighting the waves you have already survived. And like that lighthouse, your purpose is not to be admired from a distance, but to guide others safely toward shore. You are being crowned amidst chaos so that others will know stability is still possible. Heaven did not wait for calm. It crowned you while the winds were still blowing. Because the proof of strength is not peace, it is persistence. And now, as this message reaches you, let your heart remain open. If these words have met you like water in the desert, if they've reminded you that your waiting was not wasted, then I invite you press like, share, and subscribe, not as routine clicks, but as ripples. Each one is a seed of light, carrying this message to another weary soul searching for home. Every time you share, imagine tossing a pebble into still water. You may not see how far the ripples reach, but heaven does. Someone you'll never meet may find healing through a message you released with one small act of obedience. And if, one day, your spirit feels stirred to give, to donate, to sow a seed, do it not from pressure, but from peace. Think of it as adding oil to the lamp that lights the ocean for others. Your gift is not payment, it is participation. It keeps the flame steady, ensuring that the message that reached you can reach another soul standing on the edge of surrender. There is no demand here, only invitation. No price on what is freely given. When your giving flows from gratitude, it becomes worship. It is your way of saying, I believe this light should keep shining. Whether you give a little or simply pray, both are sacred. They are oil in the same lamp. You see, this crown on your life is not only about honor, it's about inheritance. The same favor that found you will flow through you. You will become a channel of comfort, a vessel of provision, a voice of calm in other people's chaos. The elevation is not for ego, it is for empathy. And when the watchers see this change, they will be confused again. They will wonder how you managed to glow in the middle of a storm, but you will know the glow is not from you. It is from the glory resting upon you. So, wear your crown with humility. Let your light be steady, not showy. Let your success be service, not spectacle. The world needs proof that purity can prosper. You are that proof. Heaven has crowned you amidst chaos to remind the world that storms do not destroy kings and queens, they reveal them. And as you walk forward from this moment, remember, your crown is not for display, it is for duty. Your rise is not for pride, it is for purpose. Shine softly, serve deeply, and keep your flame alive so that others may find their way home through your light. Something shifts in the unseen when a chosen one begins to walk in authority. It is not arrogance that fills the air, it is alignment. You are stepping into the atmosphere that was always meant for you. And everything around you begins to respond to that divine recognition. The same ground that once felt heavy now feels holy. The same air that once resisted you now carries your prayers like wind. You have moved from survival to sovereignty. When heaven entrusts you with authority, it does not sound like thunder or applause. It feels like peace. The kind of peace that doesn't need to prove anything. You no longer wrestle for attention, because the right things begin to find you. It is as if creation itself has been waiting for you to realize who you are. The Word of God says in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 19, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." That revelation is happening now through you. When you speak, the atmosphere listens. When you pray, walls shift. You are no longer hoping for access. You are the access. Wherever you go, heaven's fingerprints are left behind. Authority in the kingdom is not about volume or visibility. It's about vibration. It's about carrying the frequency of heaven into every environment you enter. You don't have to announce it. You simply arrive, and peace follows. That's how dominion moves quietly, confidently, and consistently. You have noticed it already. Places that once drained you now bow to your presence. People who once intimidated you now look to you for guidance. That is not pride, that is divine posture. You have learned to carry yourself like one who knows they are covered. The world reads your calm as confidence, but heaven calls it confirmation. Walking in authority also means walking in restraint. Power without wisdom becomes destruction. That's why your training took time, because you had to learn that true strength is gentle. A healed heart can command more than a loud voice ever could. The authority on your life is clothed in compassion. You do not dominate, you elevate. The storms that once overwhelmed you now obey your words. The fear that once silenced you now flees when you speak truth. You've realized that authority is not something you gain, it is something you remember. The spirit within you was always powerful. You just had to remove the noise that made you forget. And yet, even with this newfound dominion, you remain dependent. That balance is what keeps your crown steady. The moment you forget the source of your power, the flow ceases. But because your heart stays surrendered, the oil never stops. That is why you can walk through the same valleys that broke others and still radiate light. You are not just protected, you are partnered with heaven itself. Your authority is not limited to words. It extends to presence. When you walk into a room, heaviness lifts. When you touch someone's shoulder and whisper a prayer, the unseen rearranges itself. You do not always need miracles to prove power. Sometimes, peace in chaos is the greatest miracle of all. You are learning that true dominion is not about controlling outcomes but commanding peace. It is the ability to stand still and know that everything must align with what heaven has spoken over you. You are no longer asking life to treat you fairly. You are decreeing that it must bow to divine order. Every test you faced has built this. Every silence taught you sensitivity. Every delay taught you discernment. Now you walk as one who has been through fire, but smells only of fragrance. Remember this, the authority you carry is not borrowed, it is born. It came through suffering, through surrender, through steadfast faith. It cannot be copied, and it cannot be taken. You are a living decree, a walking manifestation of God's voice in motion. So move with calm certainty. You are no longer waiting for miracles, you are becoming one. And wherever your feet touch, peace will follow. Because heaven recognizes its own reflection in you. Authority is not loud, it is luminous. It glows from within, steady and certain, like embers that never die. You carry that quiet radiance now, unshaken, unwavering, undeniable. Every step you take realigns the ground beneath you. Every breath carries the memory of miracles you once prayed for. You are walking prophecy, clothed in peace that commands without speaking. And when darkness studies you again, it will not find fear, it will find fire. For your presence alone has become a declaration that light has already won. There is a sacred rhythm to divine justice. For every tear you cried, there comes a return. For every delay, a divine reversal. You have entered the season where the tables begin to turn, not by your hand, but by heaven's orchestration. What was taken from you is being restored, not in fragments, but in fullness. You are standing at the threshold of the reversal season. Things are shifting quietly but powerfully. The same places that once rejected you will call your name with honor. The same mouths that spoke doubt will speak testimony. The same circumstances that once mocked your faith will now magnify it. This is the mysterious way of God. He does not erase what hurt you, He transforms it into harvest. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, it is written, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. No, that promise is not poetic, it is prophetic. Heaven keeps record of time. The enemy tried to steal every disappointment, every detour, every year that felt wasted. They were never lost, they were stored. And now, those years are being returned to you as wisdom, favor, and multiplied opportunities. You are not starting over, you are starting ahead. This is the moment when divine reversal begins to move through your life like a strong wind. The unseen gears of justice turn in your favor. The people who overlooked you will wonder how you rose so quietly. The opportunities that passed you by are circling back, refined and ready. What you thought was over has only been delayed until you were prepared to hold it. Reversal does not always come in the way you expect. Sometimes it comes as peace in places that once caused pain. Sometimes it comes as closure where you once begged for continuation. And sometimes it arrives in the form of clarity, realizing you did not lose what you thought you lost, because it was never meant to stay. The return of this season is not only material, it is mental, emotional, spiritual. God restores what money cannot buy. You are now stepping into a chapter where the rhythm of loss reverses into gain. What was once taken will now testify. The ground that once resisted you will now yield fruit with ease. You no longer chase, you attract. Heaven has shifted the magnetic pull around your name. Understand this: divine reversal is not revenge. It is restoration without bitterness. God is not giving back what you lost so you can boast. He's returning it so you can bless. The things that once broke you will now build others. The same hands that held pain will now hold provision. This is how heaven balances the scales. You will begin to see subtle signs, conversations, aligning unexpectedly, people returning with sincerity, new doors opening without you knocking. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The reversal has already started, and when you see it, do not shrink back. You deserve the restoration you prayed for. You have paid the price in patience, in faith, in silent endurance. You are not receiving charity, you are receiving what belongs to you by covenant. As a prophetic act of faith, comment 333 below. Not as repetition, but as recognition. The number 333 carries the meaning of divine completeness, unity, and perfect agreement with heaven. It symbolizes the continual presence of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit working together in your favor. When you type 333, you are declaring, I align with divine order. I stand in the flow of restoration. Oh, it also represents a triple confirmation: the completion of what was started, the restoration of what was stolen, and the release of what was promised. 333 is heaven's echo that says, the time of reversal is now. When you write it, you are not hoping it is your acknowledgement that restoration is already unfolding in your life. So breathe deeply. Feel the balance returning. What once pressed you down is now lifting you up. The same story that once made you weep will soon make you worship. The reversal season is not a rumor, it is reality. And you are living inside it. The heavens are not preparing your restoration, they are unveiling it. Every piece that once felt missing is finding its rightful place in the masterpiece of your redemption story. The same ground that bore your sorrow will soon bloom with gratitude. You will walk through familiar places and feel the freshness of divine fulfillment beneath your feet. Stand still for a moment. Listen, the sound you hear is not ending, but returning. Everything heaven promised is circling back, clothed in completion and crowned with peace. You have walked through the fire and found your footing. The tests that once defined you have now refined you. And as heaven's timing unfolds, a new fragrance begins to rise from your life, the fragrance of visibility. What was once hidden is now being highlighted, not for vanity, but for victory. This is your anointing of visibility. Visibility in the kingdom is different from worldly fame. It is not about being seen for your image, It is about being recognized for your impact. It is heaven saying, "Now the world can see what I have seen all along." Every secret prayer, every quiet act of faith, every hidden moment of obedience, they are all coming into the light. Not because you demanded attention, but because the light within you has grown too bright to be contained. The Word of God reminds us in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." End quote. You have become that city, a light that has endured storms, winds, and seasons of silence, and now stands unshaken on the hill of testimony. The years of invisibility were not punishment, they were protection. God concealed you while He constructed you, ensuring that when you were revealed, you would not crumble under the weight of recognition. Now, the same anointing that once covered you in secrecy is preparing to cover you in influence. You will begin to notice subtle shifts, doors opening without effort, opportunities seeking you instead of you seeking them, favor following you into spaces where your name was never mentioned before. This is not coincidence, it is culmination. Every delay has converged into this moment of divine unveiling. But visibility comes with responsibility. When heaven elevates you, it expects humility to rise with you. The higher your platform, the deeper your roots must be. You are not being seen to impress, you are being seen to express. Your visibility is not a spotlight, it is a mirror reflecting the glory of the one who sent you. You may feel unprepared, but that is the evidence that you are ready. Those who feel overly confident are not yet safe to carry visibility. It is the trembling ones, the humble ones, the grateful ones who can hold influence without losing innocence. God trusts those who remember where they came from. And you, because of your journey, will never forget. When the light of visibility shines, it will also expose new shadows. People will project opinions, expectations, and assumptions upon you. But remember, you are not responsible for their perception. You are accountable only for your purpose. Stay rooted in the same posture that brought you here, faithful, steady, quiet before God, yet bold before man. The anointing of visibility does not mean every eye will love you. It means every eye will see you. Some will celebrate, others will misunderstand, but all will witness that God is with you. You are not here to chase applause. You are here to reveal evidence. The evidence of survival, transformation, and faithfulness under fire. Your voice will begin to carry differently now. It will have weight, not because of eloquence, but because of authenticity. People are drawn to truth that has been tested, and your truth has been tempered in flames of experience. You will speak, and hearts will respond, because your words will not just be heard, they will be felt. This new visibility will not drain you, it will define you. You will find yourself doing less but impacting more. What used to require effort will now flow with grace. When God reveals, He also reinforces. He gives you stamina for what your spotlight requires. Remember, you were never meant to stay hidden forever. Even seeds must surface when the time is right. You are emerging now, not as who you were, but as who you've become. The world is not meeting a beginner, it is meeting a survivor turned servant. And as heaven raises you into this new realm, you will understand the true purpose of visibility. It was never about you being seen, but about Him being revealed through you. You are the reflection of His endurance, the proof that hidden seasons are not wasted seasons. The world will soon see what heaven already knows. You are light. You are chosen. And you are ready. Do not rush this unveiling. Let your light rise naturally. Like dawn breaking over calm waters. The world doesn't need noise. It needs the quiet glow of authenticity. And as you shine, remember, the goal was never attention, but illumination. Wherever your presence lingers, may hope awaken and hearts remember that light always returns. The story of the chosen ones is never without confrontation. For every rise of light, there is a reaction from darkness. Your elevation has not gone unnoticed. The spiritual realm shifts when a soul stands in its rightful place. And now, as you walk in visibility and purpose, heaven prepares for the reckoning. The reckoning is not about revenge, it is about realignment. It is the moment when everything that opposed you must face the consequence of divine justice. The balance of heaven is exact. Nothing done against you escapes its record. Every scheme that sought to destroy your peace, every whisper that tried to distort your name, every force that tried to suffocate your spirit, they are all being summoned to account before the throne of righteousness. The Word of God reveals in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 35, "It is mine to avenge, I will repay. In due time their foot will slip, their day of disaster is near, and their doom rushes upon them. Lo, this is that time, not a time of your doing, but of God's. The same hands that protected you in weakness are now moving in strength. What once looked like delay was divine patience, allowing every enemy of your destiny enough time to reveal itself. But now, the line is drawn. What has stood against the will of heaven must now bow. The reckoning begins quietly. It is not thunder, it is correction. It manifests as exposure, truth surfacing after years of deceit, justice rising after long injustice. The very systems that mocked your obedience will soon testify to your endurance. And when this happens, remember, you are not to gloat, but to give glory. For vengeance belongs to God, but victory belongs to the obedient. In this season, you will feel a deep stillness. It is not apathy, it is authority. Heaven does not rush its verdicts, it writes them in precision. Some of what was lost will return. Some of what hurt you will apologize. And some of what broke you will crumble without your touch. You will not need to fight for yourself. Truth will fight for you. The reckoning is not punishment, it is purification. It clears the path for your next level. Every tie to deception will be severed. Every lingering shadow removed. This is the divine house cleaning before the harvest. You cannot carry contamination into consecration. So heaven removes what cannot move with you. You may notice relationships fading, opportunities closing, or sudden silence where there was once noise. Do not grieve these transitions. They are not loss, they are liberation. The reckoning removes access from what has abused proximity. You are being surrounded by sincerity, aligned only with what carries light. There is also a reckoning within you. Old versions of yourself are being called to the surface for judgment. The fearful you, the doubtful you, the self-condemning you. They have no authority anymore. Grace sits on the throne now. Where shame once ruled, peace now reigns. You are not being punished for your past. You are being freed from it. This is the moment where you stand, not as a victim of warfare, but as a witness of wisdom. You see now that every attack was an investment in your discernment. You no longer ask, "Why me?" but "What next?" Lord, the reckoning has given you eyes that see through deception, ears that recognize divine tone, and a heart that no longer panics at delay. When God begins to repay, He does so in ways that heal, not harm. The justice of heaven is restoration wrapped in mercy. The same fire that consumes wickedness refines the righteous. You will feel its warmth, not its wrath. This is how God differentiates between the ones who wounded you and the one He is raising you. Stand firm in this silence, for the sound of settlement is near. The tables are turning without your hands upon them. Those who plotted in darkness are now standing under the spotlight of consequence, yet your role remains mercy. Do not harden your heart. Forgiveness is the crown of the vindicated. Let peace be your posture in this reckoning. Watch and worship. Let God close every circle with justice that restores and love that redeems. For soon, when the dust clears, you will not only see your enemies fall, you will see yourself transformed. The battle that once drained, you will become the backdrop of your divine ascension. When the reckoning concludes, you will not rise as the same person who entered it. The ashes beneath your feet will speak of justice, fulfilled, and your peace will stand as heaven's final verdict, silent, shining, complete, across the earth. Something extraordinary is unfolding. The scattered sparks of the chosen ones are beginning to find one another, drawn by the same invisible pull of divine purpose. What was once a quiet survival in solitude is becoming a radiant symphony of light. You are not the only one. Rising others are awakening. 2. This is the rise of the remnant. The remnant is not defined by numbers, but by depth. They are the ones who kept believing when belief was costly, who kept loving when love was painful, who kept walking when the road disappeared. These souls, refined by fire and anchored by faith, are now converging. You will begin to sense them around you, voices that speak your language of light, hearts that resonate with your endurance. It is not coincidence, it is convergence. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, it is written, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This call is not individual, it is collective. The remnant is rising in workplaces, in families, in quiet corners of the world. They are artists, teachers, healers, prophets, and dreamers carrying the same assignment: to illuminate without arrogance, to love without condition, to lead without seeking control. They are heaven's answer to a weary generation, and you are part of that answer. When the remnant rises, the atmosphere changes. You begin to feel less isolated and more interconnected. The same strength that sustained you in solitude now finds harmony in community. This unity is not organized by human hands, it is orchestrated by Spirit. And the beauty of it is that no one has to force it. It happens naturally. Like rivers meeting at the ocean, you will feel the tug to connect, to share your story, to speak your truth more openly. Do not resist that pull. Your voice is needed. Every testimony you share becomes a bridge for someone else to cross their fear. Every word of encouragement becomes a lantern lighting another traveler's path. When you like, share, or leave a comment, imagine it as lighting a candle and placing it in the window, so another soul, still wandering in the dark, can see the glow and find direction. Subscribe if your heart desires to keep this light within reach, as one might keep a lamp on the table so that its flame never flickers out. Staying connected is not a duty, it is companionship, a way to journey with others who carry the same holy fire. And if, as you listen, your spirit stirs to donate, to sow a seed into this flame, do it as you would place a log on a campfire that once warmed you, not from pressure, but from remembrance. You are simply ensuring that the warmth continues for the next traveler who comes shivering from the storm. Your giving is not payment, it is partnership. It is gratitude made tangible. There is no demand here, only invitation. Every act of engagement, your like, your comment, your prayer, your gift is a thread of light woven into this growing tapestry of hope. The more threads there are, the brighter the pattern becomes. As the remnant rises, their light does not compete, it combines. Each flame contributes to the dawn. The world will not change because of noise, but because of consistent kindness and quiet conviction. You do not need to stand on a stage to make an impact. Your life, lived truthfully, is its own sermon. You have endured isolation, refinement, revelation, and restoration, so that your presence could now become a pillar in this awakening. You are part of a story older than fear and stronger than despair. When the remnant moves, darkness retreats, not through war, but through warmth. So let this moment settle in your soul. You are no longer a wandering light, you are part of a constellation. Each act of love, each word of faith, each seed of generosity connects another star until the night itself becomes the canvas of God's glory. The rise of the remnant has begun, and you are both the witness and the wonder of it. The remnant does not rise with noise but with harmony. Each heart becomes an instrument, playing its part in heaven's hidden orchestra until the sound of unity fills the earth. Wherever one flame flickers, others respond. Soon the night that once seemed endless will blush with light, and the world will remember that hope still breathes. So keep shining steadily, softly, faithfully. The story is still unfolding, and your presence remains a verse within it. Together, the remnant becomes the sunrise that darkness cannot deny. Dominion is not a throne, it is a trust. To walk in full dominion is not to command for pride, but to carry responsibility with grace. You have arrived at the point where heaven no longer tests your faith, it trusts it. You have moved beyond asking for miracles to becoming a vessel through which miracles flow. This is what it means to walk in full dominion. The world once told you that power was control, but heaven teaches that power is consistency. Dominion is not loud, it is steady. It is the quiet assurance that wherever your feet step, peace follows. You are no longer reacting to life, you are realigning it. The authority on your life has matured into wisdom. You don't need to fight to prove you are chosen. Your calmness already confirms it. The Word of God declares in the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, "Behold, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." You have walked through enough darkness to know that this verse is not theory, it is truth. Dominion does not exempt you from confrontation, but it guarantees you victory. You have learned that the most powerful response to attack is peace. The greatest weapon against deceit is discernment. And the surest way to silence fear is faith. Now, Creation itself begins to respond to your voice. The same spirit that calmed storms now dwells within you. When you speak alignment, the atmosphere obeys. When you release forgiveness, it disarms conflict. Dominion is not about commanding others, it is about commanding your environment to reflect heaven's order. You have become a walking restoration. To walk in dominion is to carry heaven's culture on earth. It is to be gentle yet firm, humble yet unshakable. You no longer carry anxiety about tomorrow because dominion lives in the eternal now. You no longer feel small in rooms of influence, for you understand that your presence carries eternal significance. Wherever you stand, the unseen recognizes you. You are not just a person, you are a place where heaven touches the earth. Dominion also transforms how you see opposition. Where you once saw obstacles, you now see opportunities for revelation. Challenges no longer intimidate you, they instruct you. Each resistance reveals new strength. Each delay refines new depth. Dominion doesn't remove pressure, it teaches you how to turn pressure into power. It also reshapes how you treat others. Power without love becomes tyranny. But dominion anchored in compassion becomes healing. You now carry peace like a physician carries medicine, offering restoration to those around you without even realizing it. People feel lighter after speaking with you, calmer after standing beside you. That is what divine dominion looks like. It leaves a trace of heaven wherever it goes. And though your authority has expanded, your humility keeps it holy. You know that the same hand that lifted you can also lead you back into silence. So you do not boast in your influence, you bow in gratitude. Dominion is not ownership, it is stewardship. You are not a ruler over creation, you are a caretaker of grace. The greatest evidence of dominion is balance. You can sit among storms and stay still, lead among chaos and remain kind, build among critics and remain quiet. You no longer strive to prove your peace, proves for you. The voice of heaven now flows through your choices, your character, your very presence. As you walk deeper in this truth, you'll notice something profound. The world responds differently to you because it senses order around you. Even nature obeys divine harmony. Conversations shift. Circumstances soften. Opportunities open, all because you carry equilibrium. Dominion is the restoration of Eden inside a single soul. And this is the beauty of your journey. You were never meant to conquer the world through might, but to heal it through mastery of love. You now understand what it means to rule as heaven rules, through patience, through mercy, through unwavering peace. When the final pieces align, you will realize that dominion was never about becoming powerful. It was about becoming whole. You are no longer at war with yourself. Spirit, soul, and purpose now move as one. You have become what you were always meant to be, an ambassador of divine balance, walking proof that heaven's authority can dwell peacefully in human form. And as you walk forward, the earth itself exhales in relief. Creation recognizes its caretaker, and peace spreads like dawn, soft, certain, and endless through every place your purpose touches. Now the story circles back to where it began, not at the moment of your pain, but at the reason for your watching. Everything you have walked through, the silence, the struggle, the shaping, has led to this revelation. You were watched because you were worthy of witnessing. Heaven did not observe you to judge you. It observed to prepare you. You were never merely the subject of divine attention, you were the center of divine intention. You are now able to see what once confused you, the seasons of isolation, the eyes that followed you in the unseen, the constant feeling that something greater was moving around your life. It was all part of a sacred design. Heaven was documenting your journey so that your life could become a living testimony of grace. What you endured in private will now serve as proof in public that God never wastes a single wound. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Psalms, chapter 121, verse 7 and 8. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Then, those words describe the reality you now live in. You were watched, not because you were weak, but because you were chosen. The same gaze that guarded you in childhood has guided you through every valley and will continue to guard your destiny. You were never abandoned. You were accompanied. As you rise into the fullness of your purpose, understand this truth. The watching never stops, it transforms. You are no longer being watched as a student under scrutiny. You are being watched as a steward under favor. Heaven's eyes no longer measure your endurance, they magnify your expression. You have become a partner in what once felt like a performance. You now understand why darkness followed you so closely. It was never about who you were then, but about what you would become. Hell attacks potential. Heaven protects purpose. Every moment you survived was a declaration that destiny could not be derailed. The watchers of darkness learned that they cannot touch what heaven has marked. The watchers of light learned that their protection was not in vain. Your rising is not noisy, yet it is undeniable. You walk differently now, calm, certain, and radiant with understanding. The eyes of heaven no longer see you as a fragile flame but as a torchbearer, someone entrusted with light, meant to ignite others. You carry the evidence of divine observation, peace that no chaos can steal, faith that no failure can break, and love that no betrayal can erase. In the grand order of creation, watchers still exist, but their gaze has shifted from testing to testimony. They now watch you walk in authority, marveling at what grace has crafted from ashes. You have become heaven's answer to its own question, can faith survive fire? And your life replies, yes, it not only survives, it shines. This is why you were watched, because your journey was destined to reveal God's character to the world. You were chosen to demonstrate that brokenness can become beauty, that endurance can become empowerment, and that pain can become prophecy. The surveillance of your soul was never to control you, it was to confirm you. You are the evidence that divine attention produces divine transformation. Now, the watching continues in a different way. Heaven watches through you. Your eyes have become windows of grace. When you look at the hurting, heaven sees through you. When you extend compassion, heaven moves through you. You are no longer merely seen, you have become the seer. The gaze of God is not only upon you, it flows from you. You were watched so you could rise, and you rose so you could watch over others. The cycle of divine care continues through your obedience. What began as a lonely observation has turned into a shared guardianship. You are now part of the very system that once surrounded you. You protect. You uplift. You intercede. You watch. And in this revelation lies your peace. There is no fear in being seen anymore. To be watched by heaven is to be woven into its plan. You are safe inside the gaze that never sleeps. You are held by the attention that never fades. You were never ordinary. You were always observed with intention, molded with mercy, and released with majesty. So, walk on, chosen one. The watchers still see you, but now they see what heaven sees: completion. You are the fulfilled prophecy, the finished sentence of a long divine story. What began in obscurity ends in clarity. You were watched so you could rise, and you rose so you could reveal. And now, your journey stands complete. The story that began in silence has found its sound. You have walked through shadows, learned their language, and turned their darkness into a map for others to follow. You are no longer the one searching for light. You are the one carrying it. Every battle, every tear, every whisper from heaven was shaping you for this moment of clarity. If these words have found you, then you were meant to hear them. And if they have awakened something inside you, let that awakening ripple outward. Like these words, if they have reminded you of your strength, share them. If you know another heart that needs to remember its own, each act is a spark sent into the unseen, guiding another soul who may still be wandering through the night. You can leave a comment, not as feedback, but as a footprint. Write what this journey stirred in you, even if it's only a single sentence. Sometimes your words become the very light someone else was praying for. Subscribe, not as a follower, but as a traveler who chooses to keep walking beside the flame that once found them. Connection keeps the light alive. And if your heart feels moved, if gratitude swells quietly in your chest, you may donate, not out of duty, but as a gesture of faith. Picture it as placing a single candle on an altar already burning, helping the light stretch further into the corners of the world. Every seed, no matter how small, carries warmth into places where hope has grown cold. You have become part of something eternal, the circle of giving, growing and glowing. The message has reached you, but its journey continues through you. Carry it forward, chosen one, and let the world see what a risen heart looks like when it loves.